Hello and welcome to LoFI TV on Channel 39. I'm your host, Delana Lewis. Thank you for joining us on our brand new show created by members of Saddleback College Ladies of Film, led by a predominantly female production team. To learn more about Ladies of Film, please visit our website at www.saddlebackfilmlofi.com. Today, we are exploring the relationship between mental health and the creative arts. Our first guest is Saddleback College dance student Naomi Reich. Welcome, Naomi. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, based on your experience, what is the relationship between dance and mental health?
Dance and mental health, they go hand in hand. Much like all creative platforms, I think everyone needs a creative outlet for their mental health because studies have shown that having something creative to do can help with mental health. So for me, dance is just a way to get all my negative emotions out and forget about everything going on around me and just put all of my feeling into dance and really express my emotions through movement and creativity.
That's amazing. So what is the difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist?
So a psychologist is basically a therapist. They can't prescribe you medication. They're just there to find other ways to help, with depression, anxiety, all of those problems. So you can just talk about your issues and open up to them, and it's not biased. They don't side with one person or another. They're just there to listen to you and to really help you go through whatever you might be going through. They can give you different breathing exercises to help with panic attacks or just different ways with coping. They can suggest creative outlets or, fidget toys are a really big way to de-stress and stuff. And a psychiatrist can give you the medication, but they're not really there to listen to your problems. They're just there to, tell you, what you've been sort of explaining seems like depression, seems like anxiety, and they just give you the medication. So you really don't want to have one without the other, because with the therapist, you're just talking about your emotions, which is great. But if you have something like a chemical imbalance, which is what I have with my anxiety, it's not going to help fully. So that's where the psychiatrist comes in handy because they can prescribe you the medication. But if you're just seeing a psychiatrist, they're just giving you medication and it's not helping, so they give you more, and it's not helping, they give you more. And then, you just have that one side. But with the therapist, it really balances it out. So you have the medication, but you also have other coping mechanisms, and they just really work together so wonderfully. And yeah, I highly recommend don't have one without the other, have both.
Yeah, that seems very important. So it sounds like finding the right balance could take a while, does it?
It does and it doesn't. So in the beginning, I've struggled with depression and anxiety for a very long time. And for the first couple of years, I was too scared to go to anyone because I felt crazy, like I was having these awful panic attacks, and I felt like no one would understand. So it took a couple of years for me to finally, go to someone, and someone in my family struggled with the same exact thing, and they were super open and helping, and they gave me a bunch of things that I could do, and they also helped me find a psychologist and a psychiatrist. And once I found those, I started on a medication for my anxiety and depression, and it wasn't really working, so I went to my therapist and I said, hey, I have the medication, but it's not helping. So they gave me some, different things that I could do, different breathing techniques and stuff, and it still wasn't super helping, so it took a while to find the right balance of medication and just other things, but once I found it and once I got into it, it helped. Like, it was almost instant, and so in that regard, it was super fast, but it took a long time to get there.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Naomi.
Of course.
Stay tuned. You don't want to miss what Saddleback College students and faculty and Emmy-nominated writer Michael Jan and his wife, writer, bodybuilder, and actress Michelle Jordan have to say about mental health and the creative process.
I came here because I heard that Saddleback had a really good film program. wasn't until like a year later where I actually took a production class, and when I did, I knew that like this was the place that I was meant to go. Just it was such a tough class, and our teacher basically taught the class as a way to make us employable. It wasn't about just teaching you a little bit about film, it was to make sure that we were the best film makers that we could be.
This program has taught me not to limit myself, so I do want to become a director. I do want to become a writer and write like scripts for TV shows that I can express my comedy through. Here, you can just start making things, and I think that's really important.
Next, Saddleback College students and faculty help give us insight into our own mental health as they share their perspectives on mental health and creativity.
Being childlike, being in the moment, being spontaneous, not really knowing what's going to happen next with the creativity. It's kind of like a journey, and basically it just gets me out of this, which I really appreciate.
Being creative, I think, definitely helps get people's minds off of everything else that's going on. So even if it's just sitting down and coloring or just doing anything that's creative, it brings that part of your mind into focusing on something else.
I think that creativity is so helpful for mental health. For me personally, I think when I'm struggling with a given thing, it's really helpful with music or photography or writing. I like to do a lot of writing to kind of sort through what I'm feeling and how I'm thinking, and then after I've come through whatever it is to look back and be oh, that was real, and that's how I felt. Now I feel better, but that still happened, and it's really nice to have something that I created to be oh, I am a person, I do have feelings.
I love drawing, painting, acting, whatever that could help to get off the bad stuff and just be in a good place, I guess, yeah.
You know, being under quarantine kind of gave me that time to really explore my creative interests, which I think has also really helped me develop my character.
I think that whenever I watch movies or listen to music, kind of just putting myself in that world and kind of believing I'm in that environment, it really takes away all of the stress and anxiety that I'm feeling throughout the day or in that specific moment.
You kind of need time to discover different parts of yourself, and I feel like the pandemic was a chance for basically everyone to explore what they really enjoy. And I never thought I was a creative person, and the pandemic allowed me to meet that part of myself.
I'm a teacher, so being able to rework all my lessons to fit the needs of my students was actually soothing in a way. You have control over something versus everything else around you that you have no control over whatsoever. So for me, being able to channel that creativity into my lesson plans really helped me stay sort of grounded when everything else was just up in the air.
Well, being creative has led, especially within COVID, a lot of social opportunities for me, where I've been able to make friends and meet connections and further my passion, because before, in my kind of homeschooled growing up, it was very contained, and then everybody was a part of the same sector of their experience. So I was able to collaborate and songwrite and act and be in films and all of that sort of thing. So everything really came together, and I thought, it's been a beautiful evolution relating to it.
I feel like for me, creativity actually really does help with my mental health. I struggle a lot, especially just since COVID's happened, with depression, mainly depression, and a little bit of anxiety. And there's honestly been a few classes I've come to being really depressed and really sad from the week of just lots of things that have been happening. And sometimes it's kind of I don't want to be here. It's a lot of work. But once we get into the studio, once we actually start creating and doing things, it's really nice because it gets my mind off of everything, and I can actually just be in my element, and then seeing something that I created actually helps me get out of that space. So it's actually I think it's really beneficial, yeah.
Thank you Rima Panina and Maria Manzet for conducting those interviews, and Elizabeth Veneeman for editing them. Stay tuned. In 30 seconds, we visit with Emmy-nominated writer Michael Jan and his wife, writer, bodybuilder, and actress Michelle Jordan. Welcome back to LoFi TV. I'm your host, Delana Lewis. Our correspondent, Ashley Huey, met with Emmy-nominated Tonight Show writer Michael Jan and his wife, writer, bodybuilder, and actress Michelle Jordan to get their take on mental health and the creative process.
So, for those who haven't seen or heard anything about your guys' wonderful project, can you guys take us through a little bit about the storyline and things like that?
Yes. It's a story about a mosquito who faints at the sight of blood. So,
and her name is Citronella.
yeah, so she can't get a break. And it's a story of Citronella trying to get up the nerve to go to therapy for the first time. Group therapy led by a pill bug named Dr. Pill. And Dr. Phil plays Dr. Pill,
Yep.
and Megan Trainor plays Citronella. And Sterling K. Brown plays a stick bug who's depressed. Why?
Well, he feels like no one sees him. People just look right past him. And there's just a whole group of other bugs that have their own mental health problems.
Jay Leno plays a fly who is OCD, can't stop washing his hands. You know how they do that? You don't know what these hands have been. Like, I think we do.
And a praying mantis who doesn't pray because she thinks she is God. People should be praying to her.
Yeah, so there's all sorts of mental problems on display. And the point of the film is it's okay. It's better if you talk about it.
Yeah.
Maybe you should talk to someone.
Yeah. Everyone struggles with something and there's no shame in asking for help.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I know that the film, you guys did the short film version of it and you guys are looking to get it made into a feature film. Where are you guys in the process of that?
Well, I was going to ask you if we could borrow $10 million from you.
Oh, I saw that trailer and I really loved it. If I had $10 million, it would be all yours.
Thank you. Yeah, we're in the process of making it into a feature film, and we might have a nibble, but we don't want to talk about it because we'll jinx it. Right?
Well, it's a process. So we're exploring a couple different options right now, and we'll get there.
Yeah, and what's really fun is the feature version is a much bigger story because you can't have 2 hours of just 6 bugs sitting and start talking. That was kind of just a teaser. Really, the story is big and kind of funny what the lengths that Citronella goes to not go to therapy.
Yeah.
Got it. Awesome. And then, I was watching the little clips of it, and something that I noticed was the wonderful use of those vibrant colors. And, they do say, it is scientifically proven that colors can change our emotions and they can psychologically affect us. Did you guys think about that? Was there any reasoning behind any of the colors you guys used for any of the characters or anything like that?
That's interesting. I don't think we thought of that.
But we'll take credit for that.
Yeah. Now, our director, we had a great director, Jason Reisig, and he had the vision for what it was going to look like visually. And it just, Yeah,
he had this idea of, if you ever see real micro photography of bugs, usually the background is washed out because it's their point of view, and you don't see a picnic table or a tree in the background. When you're down at their level, you tend to just see the colors behind them. And that was his idea, that would be a fun way to make it look unlike any other bug movie. And
we had it all happening kind of at sunset time. So through the short, the color, the light is changing, and it just brought out some beautiful, rich colors and hues and stuff. It was, we're really happy with it.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely beautiful. What have been like the biggest challenges you guys have faced with trying to get this project done?
Tolerating my coworker. You answer that.
Well, biggest challenges, most everybody who sees the film loves it. And everybody that we talk to, they're like, yes, we absolutely need more stuff out there to encourage people to talk about their problems and get therapy if you need it and that kind of stuff.
I would say how long it took, because if you could shoot a movie right now with your friends, you could actually make a movie with your iPhone in a week or two. This took 2 years because animation is really.
And we had the pandemic in the middle of it too, so that kind of slowed things down. But yeah, the time it takes to make an animated film is definitely a challenge. And then just getting it in front of the right people who can actually help move it forward and take it to the masses.
Thank you, Michael, Michelle, and Ashley. Want to know what Michael and Michelle said next? You can watch the entire interview on our LoFi website at www.saddlebackfilmlofi.com. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to tune in next time to meet more interesting guests on LoFi TV.